What is up, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in to On the Ball Podcast. We have a lot we got to get into. We're going to talk about, sporting events in general, with the Winter Olympics just ending. Talk about the best TV viewing experience. We have Mark Cuban, Charles Barkley offering their insight into tanking. We'll see which one makes more sense. And then we're going to give our top 5 NBA contenders. Plus, at the end of the show, we're going to go back to having some fun with some trivia. So this week we do have Ian and Brett here. So the trivia question will make a lot more sense with the two of them here. So before we get into everything, Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing, Kyle?
I'm good. Can't complain. Not at all. Celtics just beat the Lakers. I'm loving it. Sorry, Laker fans, if you're out there.
Hey, look, that goaltend, man. They're all yelling about the goaltend.
I heard them explain why they didn't call it, and I was just as confused as why they didn't call it in the first place. Like they said, oh, he touched the rim, but he didn't affect the ball, so it's okay. And I was like, okay, I'll take it, I guess.
The Lakers fans complaining about that kill me. It's like, dude, you guys lost by 22. Sure, give them the goaltend, I guess.
Yeah, there was a lot of other issues that they had going on, which I did see some Laker fans with their highlight commentary after the game, and they were just talking about the defense, which I was like, yeah, that's a legit thing to kind of be mad about. But yeah, the goaltending thing got way more attention than I actually thought it was going to get. So yeah, hey, Jaylen Brown's still doing his thing. Payne Pritchard, love to see it. But Brett, not Gardner 2, Gardner 3, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Hey, look, we're going to bring you all the most important sports news of today. Clearly the talking point, what is LeBron wearing? Look, they were talking about that on ESPN this morning. We will break it down in full detail for you tonight. No, I'm kidding. I'm doing great. I can't wait to talk some sports.
Yeah, it's so annoying. It's just all the topics that they should be talking about are just right there for them. They always slide in the most random, stupid things to discuss. But, it's neither here nor there. But let's get underway with Winter Olympics ending, which ended in a great way with, USA Hockey beating Canada. Both games were fun to watch. Got me thinking, in terms of TV viewing experience, what is the best sporting event to watch on TV? Because we all know the Olympics are fun, especially this one with Peacock. You had different streams or channels on Peacock dedicated to different events, so you can kind of pick and choose what you want to watch. But is that the best one for you, or is it something else? Start with you, Ian.
I did really like that, on Peacock, that you can kind of just pick and choose what you want to watch. Not really a big curling fan, but I've gone to the bar a couple of times and seen that on, and I'm engrossed in it. 10 rounds of shooting, six little curls down. It was fun. I liked watching that. Hockey's always great. I like the speed skating too, because that kind of reminds me of the sprinting events for track and field during the summer games. Sort of like those. But I really like that option that Peacock has, where you can kind of pick and choose what you want. Because if you don't want to watch figure skating, you can switch off of that and go to a different channel on Peacock and tune into whatever you want to.
Yeah. Okay. Brett, what's the best TV viewing experience for you?
My favorite TV viewing experience. In all reality, it just look, I'm a big NBA fan, NFL fan. There's a lot of great TV experience, a good Super Bowl, hits Colombian crack. But I think the answer consistently just might be March Madness for me.
Okay. I actually agree with that. I think opening weekend, especially when you have the most games going on, and with the upsets and everything, and there's different. I know March Madness itself has a website where you can kind of click and watch the game you want. You can even do 4 games at once, something like that on the website. So yeah, I agree. That is probably the best one out there. But the Olympics are not too far behind.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
So watching, for example, the hockey game with USA and Canada was terrific viewing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, Olympics definitely aren't far behind for sure. They don't disappoint.
Yep. So Kerm says football's kind of easier. I mean, it's not a bad football. For me, it's like playoff game. Get the elements in there, not to the Denver, New England, level, but I definitely like watching that on TV. Okay. So I guess winter or summer Olympics, which one are you more of a fan of?
I'm more a fan of summer games. There's more for me. I was a runner, so I really like watching the track events that they have going on. It's a lot of fun. Also having basketball in there too is nice.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that. As a former runner myself, no kidding. Yeah, no, but I know I'm a big fan of hoops. So when I see summer hoops, is on, I'm always absolutely locked in, regardless if it's USA or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I think summer's more for me, but winter's such a fantastic time too.
Yeah, snowboard and all that. I mean, I'm summer as well, and we'll be interested to see with like flag football and all that coming in the next iteration of it, like how these world teams put together teams. Like I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Good addition to it. But yeah, I'm summer Olympics as well. Curran says water polo and volleyball.
Oh yeah.
Water polo is like the summer version of curling for Winter Olympics. Like you'd never catch me dead watching water polo, but Summer Olympics, I will definitely be like checking it out. All right, so that was just to kind of get us going. But now let's get into let's go tanking, which once again, probably isn't as big of a deal as people are making it, but everybody's trying to lend a I guess idea to Adam Silver as to what to do about tanking. So we'll start with Mark Cuban, because Mark Cuban had a kind of interesting approach to it, where he's basically telling the league, worry about pricing fans out as opposed to tanking in general. Because Mark Cuban's philosophy is that the average fan that goes to an NBA game, they're not going there because the team necessarily is a championship contender. They're going because, they just like the experience of going to a game. So he's like, with a lot of these teams pricing the tickets and everything too much is affecting the average American from going to see a game. He said that's a bigger problem than tanking itself. Maybe coming from the owner side of it, obviously Mark Cuban used to be the majority owner for the Mavs. I think he's talking about buying back his stake into the Mavs again. Wonder why, because the Mavs seemingly have gone completely downhill without him, but neither here nor there. Charles Barkley on the other side, he gave 3 ideas. So he says if you are below 500, you can't raise ticket prices. Okay, interesting. He says every lottery team gets 1 ping pong ball, so no more of the weighing different whatever you get. You each get 1, however it comes out, that's how it shakes out. And then he said remove pick protections in trades, because to him that's where a lot of the tanking comes in. I guess who are you siding with in between the two of them? Even though I feel like they're kind of linked somewhat, but whose idea do you think Silver should probably go towards?
The answer to me is Mark Cuban's.
Okay.
Like I said, tanking, you can. They'll always find a way. As long as there's a lottery, there's a way. Mm-hmm. So unless you're going back to where it's just inverse standings, the worst team gets the number 1 pick, there's going to be tanking. And then if you do the inverse standings, there's going to be tanking.
Right.
The only way you're going to get rid of tanking is if you literally take every team and make all their odds the same, which I don't think I need to go through why that would be an absolute disaster. Or get rid of the draft, which once again, I don't think I need to go through why that would be an absolute disaster.
Mark Cuban's also like somewhat on board with that idea as well of getting rid of the draft. Because that is another part. Like I didn't use that for this, but more so for Mark Cuban, he's like, take the draft, do it as a free agency for rookies, but then your record determines like your pool of money to sign rookies. So the worse the team, the more money they can spend on rookies. That's like his secondary
So,
part to tanking.
so you're just going to tank for money instead of draft picks?
Well, I guess
Like,
by tanking, you would have more money to sign the best rookies coming
well,
out.
and that's what I mean. Like, that doesn't curb tanking at all, though, does it? Like, guess what? Instead of tanking for the number one pick, I'm just going to tank so I have, 60 million to blow in rookie free agency rather than 40.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, it doesn't work. But what does work is making sure that the NBA experience is affordable for everybody. I don't think that I think there's just a misconception with half these teams that are tanking. Like, half these teams are just bad. There's always going to be crappy teams. These teams just suck. I promise you, the Kings aren't tanking. They are just that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've been incompetent for a year, so all of a sudden you're telling me they're intentionally trying to lose? Like, come on now. Like, at the end of the day, I think you can't really control tanking, but what you can control is fan experience and, keeping the prices affordable so, the average fan can continue to come to games. So I'd side with Mark Cuban, and I think there's actually we're getting to a point where there's too much emphasis on tanking.
Right. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Ian, I guess where you stand on this?
It is kind of tough for me because like they do have very similar points where they're talking about the fan base experience and having it affordable for fans for both of them. But I think I'm actually going to go with Barkley on this one. I like the fact that, if you have that, if you're below 500, he emphasizes you don't raise your ticket prices. That should be null and void. Like that should be a thing no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have a crappy team and charge an arm and a leg to get inside the game. And then with teams only getting one lottery ball, that's not really going to do a whole heck of a lot. But I think that kind of evens the playing field for all of the people. I mean, right now, when's the last time that a number one or the worst team has gotten the number one pick? In the past 25 years, it's happened maybe twice. So
I think the last time was like 2018, I think.
Yeah, but
it's
not.
Yeah,
It's
it doesn't
not
happen
very,
as much as we probably think it does.
So, even if you do that, but to even go a step further, like if you took Barkley's idea and said, okay, well, the three worst teams, they're in the lottery. Everybody else is out. Just those three get the lottery pick, the option to get the number one pick, because that's going to help the bad teams get better, not necessarily incentivize, because you can't have, what is it? 10 teams all pushing for the top three. You would have to have, 10 teams pushing for the top three. At some point, like Brett said, bad teams are just going to be bad no matter what. There's not tanking involved. Those teams need help. Those teams are going to be in the lottery then if you have just three for the lottery.
Okay.
And to kind of expand on what you just said too, 2018 was the last time the worst team in the league actually won the lottery. Doesn't that kind of already shouldn't that already kind of curb tanking? You can intentionally lose all the games that you want. Ain't guaranteed to get that number one. We just had a team with the 11th best odds to get it. At the end of the day, you get the highest odds, sure, but it doesn't always work out in your favor. So it's one of those things where at the end of the day, with the system we have now, it's not perfect, but you already have a system where it's already a toss-up as to who gets that number one pick, and tanking doesn't always work. So, like I said, I just don't think there is a perfect system for this, because we switch to any one of the systems that were suggested. That just comes with a new set of problems and even more complaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Like, we've seen it enough, whether it's sports, society, whatever. We're never going to come to 100% agreement on anything. And I agree. I feel like the league has done a lot to kind of, what's going on, Gene? To kind of uh, make tanking not that big of a deal because they've lowered the odds for all the teams to make it more compact. Like you said, hasn't happened in so long that if you're going to try to tank for the worst record, more so than not, it's not going to benefit you anyway. You'll be sitting up there. We watch it all the time in June where they do the little draft lottery and each team sends their representative. What usually happens, some team with like the ninth or 10th best ends up moving all the way up to the top. And then, fans will go away from and go, oh, that it was rigged because they wanted the top pick to go to said team. Like, it is what it is. I do think the whole free agency part of the like rookie class that like Cubans and others have thrown out there, I kind of wonder why everybody thinks that's going to be a good idea. Because if you are like Sacramento and you have the most like money to spend for rookies, what's going to stop a couple of rookies from going, yeah, you may be offering us more than Charlotte, but I'd rather play with like Brandon Miller, who's my buddy, than to go to Sacramento where you guys have like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and stuff like that. Like, not to trash on your team, it's like, I don't see how I fit in with you guys, so why would I want to sign with you? Then Sacramento just feels even worse that, now they're getting thrown in their face, like with each rookie coming through, like, oh yeah, our franchise is terrible. And then they're left there, signing who as a rookie? And fans, once again, will just get on ownership and be like, how come you didn't go get, I guess he was in this rookie class, like, why don't you go get AJ? And they're like, well, AJ doesn't want to come here. We offered him as much as we could, but he didn't want to come here. It's like that, like you said, Brett, that just leads to a whole other issue. And then we'd probably be like 2 years down the road trying to figure out how to fix the rookie scale like problem with these teams. It'd just be another problem to fix a couple of years down the line. So here's what it is.
If you want to fix these teams, have them draft better. I get it.
That's a big problem. Yeah.
Like, it feels like that is kind of a bigger problem as why these teams are saying bad for so long, right? They just miss on like every pick. Like, I'm not even sure what some of these scouting departments are doing half the time. Like, you're not missing because you're not getting the number one pick. You're missing because you're picking Patrick Williams in the lottery and then signing him to a $90 million contract. You're not sucking because you didn't get the number one pick. You're sucking because you're picking Cody Williams with the lottery pick, who's been terrible. Mm-hmm. Like, it just feels like a lot of these teams being bad and tanking has more to do with poor front office and scouting work than actual tanking.
Yeah. I mean, it is crazy like that. And I mean, like, even recently, Golden State does all I don't know if we want to call them tanking or whatever, but they're in a position, they get a top pick, they get James Wiseman. James Wiseman since then has been passed around from team to team, and I honestly don't even know if he's on a roster right now. But you look back at decisions like that with a lot of these teams, and you go, that's why they are where they are. They missed out on a chance or two when they could have really gotten a difference maker, and maybe they went for need because we knew Golden State needed a big man. But obviously, James Wiseman wasn't the big man to take in that position. And like I said, Patrick Williams, another one you can kind of scratch your head at. Even during the process, for every Joel Embiid, there was a Markelle Fultz, a Jahlil Okafor. Like, just because you tanked and do all this, you then have to make the right decision once you get there. So it's an inexact science. That's why people call it a lottery. There's no guarantee AJ DeBonta is going to be a great pro. We don't know.
For sure. Say, I'm excited to see how this year's draft shakes out. I think I'm curious to see if how far Darren Peterson drops with all the injury issues he's been having his one and done year.
Yeah. Do you think that's maybe part of the issue with drafting as well as the one and done? Like, because we know the NFL, they force you to go 3 years, which will probably never happen with the Players Association with the NBA. But do you think that would help a lot of these teams out if you're able to see them more in a college setting for a couple more years?
I mean, it would help, but they're never going to make it like the W, where you got to go for 3. It's funny with the NBA. Half the time, I just think, say, screw it. Just let's go back to. Let's just go back to like 04 when I could just take players straight out of high school.
What's up, SB Rangers? Right about the draft, it's all about drafting and developing players. Right. Yes.
Yeah,
and what kills me, like the team will take a certain profile player 1 year, then turn back again the very next year, take the similar profile player to the one the year before, and it's like, so how are you going to develop the one player when you bring in somebody who does the exact same thing? That kills me with these teams as well. I don't understand how they do that, but
they're doing the Toronto Raptors 2020 drafting development system. Yeah. Hey, you at 6'10" forward? Yeah, get in here. You're in.
Right. It's just crazy. So some of these front offices really need to be looked at, because we will be here again when the NBA draft comes around, and we'll be wondering why certain teams took who they took. And then the following year, be like, hey, look, they're bad again. Gee, I wonder why. All right, so with that, let's go NBA. Let's go to actually on the court. We're into the stretch run of the regular season. We have, 25 or so games left for a lot of these teams. Who are the top 5 NBA contenders? Like, we know the consensus is the West is so much better than the East. So I'm interested to see how many of your top 5 are Western Conference teams versus the East, where the East we feel like the very top might be pretty good. Then there's a bit of a drop off. So top 5 NBA contenders. Like I see, whichever one of you wants to go first, feel free to go.
I feel like the top 3 all come out of the West in terms of favorites to win a title, right?
Okay.
So, I'll give benefit of the doubt to the defending champs. I'll go with Thunder as the team that should be favored. Mm-hmm. But right on their heels this year, the Spurs. And, of course, the Denver Nuggets were they pushed the Thunder to 7 last year despite Porter Jr. playing with one arm. Mm-hmm. Aaron Gordon's hamstring being pulled pork, and Jamal Murray being hurt. So, those top 3 teams should be the favorites to win it all. And I completely say, I think in the East, obviously, the Detroit Pistons should be a favorite to win it all. Shocker, the 3 best teams in the West and the best team in the East should be favored to win it all.
Right.
But that 5th spot is interesting because you get to a lot of teams that are solid, but really flawed. Mm-hmm. Will the Celtics have enough in the tank to knock teams off come postseason time? Defenses tighten up. Will these secondary guys that are going nuts now, will they be able to kind of do it again against tougher defenses? The Knicks are interesting, but will Brunson be able to handle the heavy scoring load? I'm going to pick my 5th team. I'm gonna make my 5th team a little bit of not really a wild card team, but a little bit of a wild card team. Give me the Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right. I mean, it's kind of it's interesting you're wearing Cleveland Cavaliers jersey when you came with that.
Yeah, it's funny. It's probably about time to retire my JR jersey, but I got to get the new one. Look, the James Harden has really unlocked Jarrett Allen. I love those two and their connection already. Mm-hmm. It's very reminiscent of when he was back in Houston with Clint Capella. And another big factor, Keon Ellis has been fantastic for them. He's been an absolute game wrecker on the defensive end, and he's a very good 3-and-D wing. I think they pushed all of the right buttons, and now they have the pieces. It's just going to come down to, I think James Harden, as much as we can call him a playoff dropper, and I think there's obviously validity to that, he's shown he can win you 1 to 2 playoff games in a given series. It will be up to, hey, can Donovan Mitchell take you home the rest of the way. So you know what? I think that Donovan Mitchell has already proven that he's one of the best playoff risers in league history. He's done that time and time again. So you know what? I'm going to go with my fifth team. Give me the Cleveland Cavaliers. I really love the moves that they made, and I think that they're going to be on fire by the time we hit the postseason.
Okay. So, Ian, it's up to you. Is your five similar to Brett's? Do you have any changes? Who are your top five?
No, I was laughing because I wasn't expecting Brett to have the exact same five that I had. So I was writing down who I thought, and I did this all before the podcast, and I had every single team that Brett had written down. I was like, oh, no way. He's not going to say Cleveland, is he? Yeah, he is. All right.
I'm mad.
So, I mean, just what Cleveland's doing, like bringing over James Harden and what he's been able to do since he's been there, really give them some continuity and consistent scoring. And then you also have the emergences of Sam Merrill every now and again, not missing a shot at all, getting 28 points. I mean, they have a bunch of pieces on their team offensively and defensively to do something and to really shake things up in the playoffs. And as far as all the other teams are the exact same, but I really like the Spurs. You know, Wemby's getting close to 3 blocks a game. Stefan Castle's really doing well his second year. Fox is doing great. I mean, Thunder are always going to be a top contender when they have SGA and Chet.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the combination for the Pistons with Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham. They're an electric duo. Pistons have the most steals per game, most blocks per game. And then just Jokic with the Nuggets. I mean, they're always in as long as Jokic is on the field. So it's good.
Okay. I mean, look, my fifth spot was different, but top 4, I feel like, are the same. I put Denver ahead of San Antonio only because Denver does have, Jokic and they have the experience. I think with San Antonio, I think they're crazy talented for sure. It'll just be, what do they do playoff series after playoff series where teams play them differently multiple times in a series. And I think San Antonio's maybe biggest weakness might be their perimeter shooting. Is that something that could come back to bite them come June? But everything else they have, love it. Wemby obviously is, legit. So they're up there. I do have Detroit in the East as being the best team. I think they are probably like the best version of like the Knicks tried to do a couple of years ago, being crazy physical and all that. I just think Detroit's much better at it, and we've seen it where they played in the regular season so many times this year. It's kind of come true that they are just better. I think they are similar to San Antonio. We need to see it come June consistently from them, but they seem like they are built for playoff basketball. My fifth spot, I had to go with my Celtics. I just think the way Jaylen Brown's playing right now, the addition of Vucevic, who is a legit like post player that they can just dump the ball into, plus the playmaking he can give you out around the free throw line with back cutting and everything like that. Their defense has gotten better. They were like around the top 5. Now they're a top 5 defense in the league. And offensively, they can score in bunches, especially when the 3 ball's going down. But with Jaylen Brown and some of the others that Missoula's using, they do kind of get to the rim a bit more than they have in previous years. Plus, the Tatum thing is still hanging out there. So I have them 5th. I did think about Cleveland. My thing with Cleveland, though, is not even Harden necessarily. Evan Mobley. Because I think offensively, they've kind of pushed Mobley to be a perimeter player. I don't know if I trust him like that. As a guy that they will need to like knock down threes when, Mitchell and Harden get to the rim, but the defense closes out and he has to kick it out. Like, I get that Mobley's gotten better at it. I still don't think it's a strong suit for him. So that was the only thing that separated like Boston and Cleveland for me. Because I do like Cleveland's roster. I still have questions about Donovan Mitchell being your best player and playing championship level basketball. But that's kind of where the Harden addition, if it works the way it should, that takes some pressure off of Mitchell late in the game to have to create for himself when nobody else has anything going. I just trust Boston more right now. What's going on, Robin? See, Robin
Hey,
gets it.
what's good, Robin?
So that was my separation. So none of us picked the Knicks. We know Knicks fans love talking about the Knicks and how good that they are. I guess going back around, who's the team that just fell off your top five? I guess your honorable mention team.
Oh man, the Milwaukee Bucks are close. I'm absolutely kidding, by the way. I wish I could homer my Bucks into this conversation, but I genuinely cannot. The team to me that's right outside them. I'm not going to bet against the Ant and the Timberwolves. I'd probably go with the Wolves. Team that made back-to-back Western Conference Finals. They always seem to find a way, and I believe in them again. I love the moves that they made at the deadline, able to, flip Conley, bring in Ayu Dosomu, and then bring Conley back. So, they got deeper at the guard position, which was something I was clamoring for them to do for a while. So I think my team that's just outside looking in, Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay, Ian.
The team that I had, 6. What did I have? I probably have Boston just right outside. Just the thing with me for them was I feel like my personal opinion is that Tatum is better in the playoffs than Brown is. And so if you can get Tatum back for the playoffs, he's going to really help take that pressure off of Brown, and the Celtics would be a complete team. But that was the only thing that really kind of kept it out for me, was not having Tatum right now.
Okay. My concern with Jaylen Brown as the number one option in the playoffs is I think he's been great elevating his scoring to where the Celtics needed to be. But as of right now, he still kind of has a big turnover issue. He loves turning the ball over, and sometimes at really bad times. My question is, when the defenses tighten up and they get more physical, can he keep those turnovers down to a minimum? Because then, guess what? Maybe it is the Celtics that make a surprising deep run. But if those turnovers stay the same or even creep up higher, that's kind of where I'm a little concerned. With JB, like I said, I love what he's done. I think he's been great, but I'm really concerned about when we get into a close game, can you trust them to put the ball in his hands without him, throwing it to the other team?
I think that's a fair question. My answer would be I would focus more so on Derek White and Payne Pritchard when it comes to that, because those are two guys who I believe statistically are towards the top of assist to turnover ratio. And Jaylen Brown's a guy who can play off the ball. Like, you don't need to necessarily put the ball in his hands and have him try to create for himself. And with Missoula's offense, it is a lot of cuts and all that. And Jaylen Brown's just as part of that as everybody else. So I do think if the defense got to that point where Jaylen Brown was struggling with ball handling, I think the other two guys could step up and they would just move Jaylen Brown to a different part of the court and operate that way. Pacers, Hallie tears Achilles. They are last in the East. Boston loses JT. They're number 2. Robin, I like the vibe, Robin. As a Celtics fan, I'm obviously loving that. But
Celtics being number 2 is surprising. Definitely no surprise that the Celtics are still competitive, though. We've known since last year that the Celtics kind of just have a deeper team than the Indiana Pacers.
Right, because Pacers lost Halliburton, then it kind of pushed Siakam back to the number 1, and we know because we saw the years in Toronto, so Siakam as a number 1 isn't great. Siakam as your number 2, he's a pretty good player. So I wasn't surprised by Indy being. Actually, I'm a little surprised that Indy's this bad. I thought they'd be a little bit more competitive, but not completely shocked. I knew Boston was never going to do the whole tank thing like a lot of people thought. Like Jalen Brown's too much of a competitor for that, and Joe Mazzulla is too much of a competitor for that. Jalen Brown playing all he absolutely is. I mean, he's in the MVP conversation. So, um, my 16, I guess would be Cleveland. Like I said, I like what Cleveland has. I don't fully trust Donovan Mitchell or usually his teams that once they get to the playoffs. Like we saw with Utah, they'd have really good seasons and then they kind of flame out when the offense gets bogged down and Mitchell has to do everything. That's where Cleveland's kind of fallen short the past few years, and that's where Harden can't disappear. Because like you said, Brett, Harden will win you a game or two, but then usually you get around game 6 or 7, Harden likes to disappear. He can't do that with Cleveland. So that would be my only thing holding them out of the top 5 for me. But at least we had different honorable mentions. You had Minnesota, which I like Minnesota as well. I'm a big Anthony Edwards guy. My thing with Minnesota, though, they are a team that would put out like an and one mixtape up by 20, and then by the end of the video, they lose by like 6 points, and you're like, what did y'all do to just lose momentum like that? Like they are one of those teams, like they are very streaky, but they have all the pieces to be really good. So I do like Minnesota a lot.
I always tell myself too, like this seems too streaky to do anything in the playoffs. Next thing I know, and
right, they're in the Western
Wolves are in the conference finals again. Like, how the did they get here?
Yeah, but they are a fascinating team to watch. Okay. I'll probably put a graphic together and put that out on the wire to wire page after the show. So before we get to trivia, actually, there is something in the NFL I want to get your opinion on because it's something I just saw. NFL is mulling allowing replay officials to throw flags. So the competition committee discussing the possibility of authorizing replay officials to throw flags for specific penalties. So I guess trigger a replay or something. Initial thoughts on that?
Is it just throwing flags on like all penalties or just certain ones?
Let's see. I'm reading this the same time. Where does it say? I guess it doesn't really. Oh, here we go. Owners have previously been reluctant to allow replay officials to throw flags, believing they would substitute in judgment of on-the-field officials, blah, blah, blah. They're also making it seem like it's kind of any questionable. Oh, non-football acts that have gone unpenalized by on-field officials.
Non-football acts, that's actually okay. I just feel like the replay official should be there to, officiate the replays, but I don't think you need to be having the replay officials throwing, flags. That would be a bit much, but it's something too at the same time as I guess I wouldn't care that much. It's confusing, right? Because it's a fine line between, sometimes if something's a penalty or not. I would just hate for maybe something like that looked very innocent to get flagged by the replay official because they thought a player was being, too aggressive or whatnot. It just feels like you're adding another. It could potentially work. Obviously, sometimes there are really egregious calls that are missed, like unsportsmanlike, etc. But it feels like this is opening the door to create also on the flip side more problems, getting more really soft penalties getting called. So like it's a really mixed bag for me. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I'd rather just let the replay officials focus on being replay officials.
So I will say the article gave an example of what the new rule would kind of be in place. So it said, fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, Stephon Diggs, Josh Jobe grab each other's face masks on the sideline. Jobe delivered a left-handed punch to Diggs' helmet. No penalty flag was thrown on the play. But in this case, the on-site replay official could throw a flag to look at it, obviously to penalize Job for throwing the punch at Stephon Diggs. So kind of cases like that.
Like I said, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like that's where I think it'd be fine. Like if the penalties are egregious, sure, say it. It also feels like you're opening the door for them to call some, stop the game so the replay official can call some really soft ones as well. Like it feels like it would have some good effects, but also at the same time, it could just slow down the game a lot more as well.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, are you a fan of this possible new enactment from the league?
Not in particular. I feel like the on-field officials, I mean, they miss calls. I mean, they can't see every single thing, and then to have a replay official kind of just have their own interpretation on what the penalty should be. I mean, obviously, like there's egregious ones like Josh Jobe hitting Diggs, but I mean, like Brett said, it's just going to slow the game down. You're going to get different interpretations of the acts on the field versus what it is in real time. And then it's going to be down to the replay official to have basically a say in the game when it should just be left to the on-field officials.
Yeah. True. Hold on, Robin said Detroit has a great coach along with Cade. Big Cade fan, so I do agree with that. What's up, Damien? So he's saying get rid of the stupid taunting rule.
I'm here for it. Hell yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. It'd probably lead to a little bit more pushing and shoving, but a little pushing and shoving never hurt anybody. So,
do I think they should have completely abolished the taunting rule? No, because I don't. We don't need something egregious like them starting to like climb on the goalpost and things like that.
Yeah.
We've seen players pull cell phones out of the goalpost before. Like that's a bit much. But that being said, I feel like they definitely need to loosen it up quite a bit. Like, let these players freely express themselves. Just don't let them go overboard. Granted, my favorite taunting penalty of all time will always be Joey Porter Jr.'s pick six, where he danced on the sideline for like a solid minute straight after that. Truly incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the taunting thing, because I'm assuming that Damien brought it up, maybe with the Tariq Woolen one that a lot of people had issues with in the playoffs. Because, they make the play, he kind of looks over the sideline and does something they call taunting. I guess, but I also thought when that play happened, you didn't need to do it there. Like Tariq, like wait till the game's over and then talk all you want. Get the little pushing shove matches after the game. We've seen that plenty of times as well. They can't penalize you for that unless you do something even stupid like bite somebody or punch somebody or something like that. But yeah, just I don't know. Sometimes it is a little weak. I will agree with that. What's up, John? Can we all agree that LeBron needs to stop worrying about the baby powder? Yeah, okay. Look, LeBron hasn't been a top flight defender in a few years now. If you think he's turning back the clock at age 42, I don't know what to tell you. Because I get it. I've seen plenty of Laker games like on national TV and stuff, and there are times where I'll be like, I mean, LeBron, you could do a little help defense there, move your feet. I think the worst thing from the Celtics game, if you saw the game, you might remember the play. They went to zone. They put LeBron in the middle, down low. I think it was Sam Hauser set like a soft screen on him, and LeBron died on the screen, leading to an easy layup for Vucevic. I saw that play. I was like, that's not a good look. But I don't know if I can expect really much more from LeBron at this point. He kind of is what he is at this point.
It's LeBron. He's going to kind of coast until we get to the playoffs and turn it up at that point. Like, he's kind of been the same player this decade. Like, he locks in when he needs to lock in, but he doesn't really lock in besides that. He still can be an impactful defender. I think part of the problem, too, is, though, obviously Luka Doncic can carry, like, most of the scoring load and offensive load.
Mm-hmm.
But now who has to pick up the rest of the slack after Luka? It's LeBron, and then of course you don't want to overwork Luka, so now you're still forcing 41-year-old LeBron to be like this really big piece of your offense and carry this massive offensive load, and now it's going to suffer on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. I think he'll pick it up in the playoffs, but LeBron and it defensively, he just has to pick and choose his spots. I actually don't really blame him in a lot of these cases, because if you want him to get more effort on defense, you're going to have to get somebody to take even more of the scoring load off of him.
Well, I guess, look, we just mentioned the Lakers. We got this comment talking about the Lakers as a contender after OKC, Detroit, young and untested, Knicks, Lakers because they know how to play in the playoffs, and then the Spurs. Not saying that I'm assuming, maybe I don't want to assume that's like in order, but I guess those are the 5 teams as contenders.
You know what's funny? I think the Lakers' biggest problem, why I'm like would be concerned about them though, is they just don't really have much of anything cooking for them offensively, creation wise. Once we get past Luka and LeBron, like
Cavs was not on the list. No,
like they're not a particularly good shooting team. Mm-hmm. They're a good regular season team. I just don't think when you get into these top contenders, like unless if Jared Vanderbilt's going to, keep, I know he was on a hot streak a little bit ago, but unless he's all of a sudden knocking down 40% of his threes, Marcus Smart starts becoming a flamethrower, you get into a battle with like OKC or San Antonio, they're just going to park like Chad or Wemby on a non-shooter and take away every single paint touch known to man. So I think the Lakers are on an actually pretty decent path with all their flaws. They're still a very good team. But I think they need a little bit more like pure shooting surrounding these guys to really get going, because as of right now, there's just not enough shooting to keep defenses honest in the playoffs.
So 3-D. Celtics have a bench that contributes in many ways. Yep. Look, Hugo Gonzalez. It's my guy.
Say everybody's the Nemus Quita merchant.
Love that guy too. He's grown on me. John buying stock in the Golden State. I think that's a pretty big, bold move there, because I just worry about Golden State just in general. No Jimmy Butler, even though not whatever. But what are they besides Steph Curry?
I would pick the Lakers to make a run before Golden State. I'd pick the Lakers, Houston. I might even take Phoenix before I take Golden State. What? Golden State just doesn't have much going on outside of behind Steph.
Yeah.
And Draymond and like Horford can never get going at the same time. And if Draymond's in the game, your defense gets boosted, but that's just a non-shooter to clog up the lane. So like Golden State, I think, is just a little too flawed. I like the bold take, by the way. I love bold takes, but that it's a little too spicy for me.
Maybe John's a big believer in the Porzingis move working out for him.
When's he coming back? Like, he's been sick for a long while.
He played in the Celtics game with Golden State.
Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? I completely forgot he did.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't look great, but he did play.
My bad. That's on me. But
yeah, Kuminga. Look, that's kind of been the thing, right? Every time there's like a window for Kuminga to kind of do something, he's been hurt. And look at Atlanta. Kuminga could, I guess, factor into their future if he were on the court, because Atlanta is searching for answers right now. With Trae Young not there anymore, they kind of have to find who's their core going forward. So I don't know. Kuminga needs to figure that out. Right before the train plane. Now, yeah. I don't know. Some of these guys, I just don't know the mentality with them. Not necessarily. Let's see. John says he would choose the Hornets over the Lakers. Okay. putting a lot of stock in LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller and those guys, but they are playing well right now. I get it. Okay. Um, I guess, are you guys ready for trivia?
Yes.
I'm always down.
All right. So if you guys don't know, On the Ball or old shows, Big Three, we used to do a lot of fun at the end of the show. Thought we'd bring it back. So for tonight's question, the way it's going to work, I have a stat category. I have the top 25 players. You'll name a player. I'll tell you if they're on there or not, and you will get the points based off of where they ranked. So if you come up with a 25th ranked player, you'll get 25 points for naming them. If you name obviously the overall number one, you'll just get 1 point. Most points at the end wins.
Say sorry, what did you say the category was?
I didn't say the category yet. I was just saying that whichever
Oh,
category
got
I
it.
say, whichever they placed in the ranking, that's the amount of points you will get for said player. And I guess we'll allow 3 strikes and you're out. I guess football, 3 downs and you punt. So the category will be, well, this was the question for last week, so we're just playing it back. In honor of Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, top 25 rushing yard leaders from this past season. I mean, 3-D, look, we use the honor system here. I'm sure Ian and Brett aren't going to be cheating. I fully believe them. So yeah, top 25 NFL rushing yards leaders from this past season in the NFL. Let's start. I guess let's go Ian first.
Jonathan Taylor.
So Jonathan Taylor was number 3. So you get 3 points for that.
I think James Cook. I'll go Cook.
Cook was number 1. So that's 1 point for you.
Gibbs.
Gibbs was 7th. So 7 points for you. Okay.
I'll go to Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry was number 2. 2 points. All right, which one is going to take that first shot? Trying to get number 25. All right, Ian, back to you.
Let's go Kenneth Walker.
Okay. Look, the man's great. Kenneth Walker was 16th. That's 16 points for you.
Gosh, I keep getting the top ones. I might have to take a swing in the dark here soon.
Okay.
Because I know Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs was 20th. So 20 points for you. Great answer.
Oh, does this count for quarterbacks as well? Or is it strictly running backs?
Strictly running backs, I believe, with this one. Yes. Strictly
Okay.
running backs.
Kyron.
Kyron Williams was 6th. So 6 points. Okay. Brett?
Ooh, oh, this is gonna be tough. All right, let's. Bijan.
Bijan was number 4. 4 points for you. Crazy that Bijan was 4th with almost 1,500 yards rushing. Crazy.
Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle was 14th in rushing. That's 14 for you. Because after your answer, Brett, I'll give you a score update.
Achan Dolphins.
Achan was fifth. 5 points for you. He was fifth with, probably should get the yards, but 1,350. So right now, score, Ian's got 46. Brett, you have 32. Still plenty of names left. So, Ian, back to you.
This is shot. Genty.
Ashton Genty. For all of his struggles, he was 18th in the league with 975 yards. All right, Brett. It's up to you.
I'm going to go with Saquon.
Saquon was 10th with 1,140 yards. All right, back to you, Ian.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, Ramondre. He was 34th. That's your first strike.
Dang.
All right, Brett, back to you.
Fudge. This is tough. I almost messed myself up with that one. I don't want to go there. I almost went. I'll throw one out in the dark. How about Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was 38th with 548 yards. That's your first strike. All right, back to you, Ian.
CMC.
CMC is number 8 with 1,202 yards.
Oof. What's his name? Trying to think. I know what I want. Panthers. Begins with the C. Chuba Hubbard. That's his name.
Chuba Hubbard was 43rd with 511 yards. Back to you, Ian.
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall was 15th with 1,065 yards. It's running backs is Ian's wheelhouse.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was so knowledgeable in running back. I'll go. I got 2 strikes. I got to be careful, but I also got to be bold if I want to catch Ian on this one. I got to go Javonte Williams of the Cowboys.
Javonte Williams was 9th with 1,201 yards.
Still alive. Okay.
Yep, still alive on the board. Ian, back to you.
We'll go DeAndre Swift.
DeAndre Swift, 12th with 1,087 yards.
Ooh.
Okay, Brett.
I'm nervous. I don't know, man. Like I said, he's got me on the ropes here. I don't.
Look, I mean, Ian's been coming with some pretty good names. At a certain point, you have to take a shot at
All
like
right.
20 to 25, probably.
You know what? All right, I'll take a shot. Woody Marks, Texans.
Woody Marks. Woody Marks was 31st, 703 yards. That's your third strike. So I guess Ian, unless you want to keep going, just to.
Is Kamani Vidal on the list?
Kamani Vidal. Let's see. He is 32nd, 643 yards. Got one more strike in your pocket if you want to keep going.
Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 9 spots left.
Yes.
Oof. Is Bill on there? Bill Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt?
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, 23rd on the list with 805 yards.
Oh.
Ian might just be our stunt flop guy, I guess.
Oh man, this is tough because I kind of think that there might be somebody like on the same team.
Okay.
But I don't know because there's some teams that I like the Chargers. I didn't know if Vidal got there or not. Obviously, he didn't, but because they had running back issues. But Oof.
So I will say, chat, if you're watching, try to guess the 25th running back on the list.
25th. Could you say the yards?
I can do that. 25th was 772 rushing yards. So they're about 30 less than Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt.
RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey would be your third strike. He was 40th on the list, 540 yards. So your line of thinking wasn't wrong. There was a team that had 2 guys in the top 25. It was the Bears. So you had DeAndre Swift, and Kyle Monangai was 24th, 783. So I guess a hint for 25th, AFC West.
You said for 24th in the AFC 25th. West?
24th was Kyle Monangai. For the 25th guy, AFC West.
Is it Pacheco?
Mm-mm.
Actually, I think this is only one answer. It feels like there's only one guy that got the volume to potentially get there. Is it Dobbins?
It was J.K. Dobbins, yeah. And he only played, I think, 10 games and he got there.
Yeah, I'd say he didn't play the entire season, but he had a lot of carries, it felt like, when he did.
Yep.
He made the most of them.
So all the names you missed, Quinshon Judkins was 22nd. Travion Henderson, you mentioned Ramondre. Travion Henderson was 21st. Jalen Warren, 19th.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Brown 17th. Tony Pollard was 13th from Tennessee. And then, let's see, Swift was 12th. You guys got, ETN. Travis Etienne was number 11.
Wow.
But you guys had the whole top 10. So, Ian wins week 1 of trivia. But don't worry, we'll have another question next week. But yeah, so that's kind of how it's going to work. Like I said, I'll try different types of trivia, but just wanted to kick off with a little top 25. I think you guys did great. So, yeah, I mean, that's all we had for you topic-wise. Like, you guys have anything you want to add before we get out of here? I guess, Brett, let them know what they can look forward to later on tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be good for Meaty Boys. We're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna talk obviously we're gonna talk wrestling. We're gonna be talking some old school factions based off a very, viral Twitter post and, on the wrestling side of things. So it's gonna be a great time.
All right. So yeah, wrestling fans, make sure you tune back in for Meaty Boys later on. I got Sports Report tonight as well at 10 Eastern. Ian, anything before we get out of here?
Nope.
All right. So yeah. So for myself, Ian, Brett, not Garden the 2s, Garden the 3. We'll be back next week with more to talk about. Hopefully, a WNBA, collective bargaining thing could be signed by then. Maybe we'll talk about that. It's all right, young goat. It's okay. Just make sure you're back next week, 6 Eastern, and you'll be here on time. But yeah. So appreciate all of you. Make sure you check out all the other shows here on the network. You'll see in the outro. And yeah, till next week. We're out of here. All right. Bye.